Hey, Flimsy Lunch Tray with you today, and we have another Lunch with Flimsy episode. Originally, I would have liked to have had a continuation on of the new player guide series from my European server account, but I got on it and it's still completely busted. Um, the lag is not going away. I can jump on my NA server account, play fine, and then EU server account is bad. So I'm going to submit a ticket to Wargaming and see what they say, or just uninstall the EU server. Well, I have it tied with my, I don't have to have a separate download for my EU server account. I'm able to use the port window that I would log into, let's say, play on my NA server account. So that's nice because I don't have to take up as much space on the computer or my drive. But there's just something bugged with my EU server account. I have no idea what it is, and I know it's not my Wi-Fi. I know it's not my router. I know it's not my PC. So, as you know, Wargaming they'll first tell you that it's probably your what's the two thing they usually do? They say it's your EU. They'll say it's your Wi-Fi or your internet, or there's another one that's typically their go-to response. So we'll see. So hopefully I can have some more content for you guys from the New Player Guide series. So I'm just going to have to say that's on hold for now until I get that issue resolved, because it's pretty frustrating right now at the moment, to be honest. So maybe next week. It might be 2 weeks until I get this resolved. So yeah. So in the background, we're going to be having a battle from Narai playing for you, as I like to take Scharnhorst and Fiji in Narai. So we're just going to be talking about some things on my mind. But going back to the EU server account with the lagging, if you guys have any thoughts on that or advice, please feel free to let me know and drop it in the comments. Because besides submitting a ticket to Wargaming and trying to figure out how to, pretty much out of ideas at this point. So if you have an idea, or you've experienced the same thing, let me know. Basically, I can log into the game fine, but once I start playing a game, I get a lag spike every 2 or 3 seconds. So I'll have 2-3 seconds of moving footage. Everything freezes for about 2 seconds, and then it'll unfreeze. And so basically, I have to time my shots in between the lags to actually even play the game, but it's still pretty terrible right now. So, yeah. So what's been happening in World of Warships lately? Well, a lot. I guess the new thing that's been most on everybody's mind has been the Dutch cruiser airstrikes. And I think we've all seen the footage of, most of us have seen all the footage of the Alaska on the map, Sleeping Giant getting wrecked. Not only from the airstrike, but his position of the other ships also shooting him. But he still took a significant amount of damage from the airstrike. And then others have seen a double division, triple division of the Dutch cruisers, super testers, where I think there's a footage of an Iowa that gets hit with 6 airstrikes. And he doesn't get shot at by any enemy ship till after the airstrikes have all dropped and hit, and basically loses all of his health. So pretty devastating. And that was also on Sleeping Giant. But then we've seen some footage from Panzerknacker. He posted a video of different clips of players playing and successfully avoiding the airstrikes. So, yeah. I don't like... This is just my personal opinion. I didn't know of anyone complaining, saying in the game that they felt like there was not enough aircraft in the game already. And so, hey, we need another gimmick. Add more aircraft into the game on top of the battleships / aircraft carriers that will soon make an appearance in the game as well. Yeah. So my overall position right now when it comes to the Dutch airstrikes is I would just like to see when it comes live to game, to see how it all comes together before, I guess, having a final opinion, final conclusion on the matter. The one thing I will say, though, that I don't like is the fact that there are ships in the game who need to utilize islands for coverage. Thinking particularly, such as American cruisers. Something you have a radar, you move and you're providing radar coverage of a cap. And a lot of times, if you're something like, Cleveland, Des Moines, the Worcester, you need to be able to get in behind, alongside an island, and you're pretty much sitting still, lobbing shells over the island, so on and so forth. Because if you try to just open water, open gunboat, and say something like, the Worcester light cruiser, the Cleveland, you'll just get wrecked because your armor isn't suited enough to bounce a lot of the shells, since you can easily be citadeled through the deck. So that's the one thing that I definitely see at this point being a bad thing. Of course, when I think, oh, what if I was in a Dutch cruiser with one or two clanmates, all division, it does sound fun, but at the same time, it's not fun for the players on the receiving end. So, yeah, I don't know. We're just gonna have to see. So my posture for now is just see what it looks like when it hits the game. But I will say on the surface level, it does seem to be a pretty dumb idea, especially that the fact that the aircraft can dump in and drop in on you 4.5 kilometers in, already inside your AA, and most of your flak doesn't even do a lot of damage to it, since most of it's going to be shooting past the airstrike when it comes in. So yeah, I guess my final thoughts on that matter will be later on. But of course, that has most of the community pretty worked up at the moment. So we'll have to see how that comes together. Other things to talk about. Let's see, I just had something on the top of my mind. Yes, the new matchmaking we are finding ourselves in when it comes to co-op battles. So for those of you who maybe haven't noticed this very much or unaware, about since mid to late April, there's been this thing in matchmaking in co-op battles called either you have a full human team or you only have 2 humans on your team. So a 2-7 is kind of what it's been referred to. There's a player who posted in the World of Warships forums about this, that it seems pretty consistent. And I had been noticing a lot, I think even early April, it seemed a lot of my matchmaking was only one other human besides myself on my co-op team, and the rest were all bots. And then, other than that, it's been always, or most of the time, always a full human team. Now, I have had, I think since the end of April, I have had maybe 3 battles where there was 3 humans on the co-op team, but the rest were all bots. It's usually always either the 2-7 matchmaking or the 9-9 matchmaking, or just 9 matchmaking. So I plan to have more of a video on that subject coming out here pretty soon. I think I have footage from a battle I can use where it's only myself and one other human player having to carry. And that has had mixed reactions from players. Some players like it because it means more damage, more earnings for them in co-op. While others who want to play co-op, just relax, have fun, have now been actually pretty frustrated because they can't take a ship into battle anymore that they... if you take a ship in that doesn't have carry potential in, if you're just goofing around or you're just taking, let's say a light American cruiser, let's say you're tier 8 matchmaking, you take the Cleveland, I'm going to pick on the Cleveland, or let's say even the Edinburgh, and you only have one other human on your team, and he's a destroyer, he dies, you're the only one left, against 6 ships, 6 bots, right? How does that going to fare well? Especially in something like the Cleveland, right? You're gonna have a really frustrating time. Where if you're taking something, like maybe the Tirpitz, the Massachusetts, Odin, the Linen, or even something, you know, a strong tier 8 cruiser, you would be struggling much less and being able to carry the mode. So that's had players matchmaking. To me, I liked previously when it was like sometimes you might be the only human player. Sometimes you might be on a full human team. Sometimes you might have 6 humans on your team. Sometimes you might only have 3. So you kind of never knew, but usually you at least always had, let's say, 4 or 5 or more. But now it's something else that's been changed or bugged. Who knows? Within the game now. So I'll have a video on that upcoming soon on that topic of conversation. I've been a bit behind with things going on in life and current video schedule for my 4 videos posting a week. The new ranked, with the newest iteration of the sprint ranked season that just started last Wednesday. That's actually been quite nice. I've enjoyed it so far. I'm in Bronze League, and I've now only played up to 6 battles, won 4, lost 2, and I've really enjoyed it. I saw a lot of players, you know, other World of Warship YouTube content creators, give recommendations of, you know, if you're going to take a battleship, you got to take the Sinup, tier 7 battleship for the Bronze League. You've got to take Sinup. But then I'm like, where's the love for Scharnhorst? Scharnhorst she's not as strong and sturdy, doesn't have as heavy guns as Sinup, but she's still a really significant threat. I had a battle where I was like, you know, I'm going to take Scharnhorst. I have Scharnhorst. She's a good ship. See what the haters dissing the Scharnhorst and not bring her up as a good viable option. At least the YouTube videos I watched, Scharnhorst was in the recommendations. And I actually went up against a Sinup. He was doing what he should have in that situation when I went up against him, where he was playing more at range. So for my role in the Scharnhorst, I just knew I needed to get closer. I needed to get within torpedo range and then do a drive-by. So I dumped 3 torpedoes into the side and then did my broadside drive-by with all my guns up close and personal, and just wrecked them. So that was worked out quite well. So I want to take Scharnhorst out more, because I think I'm going to stick around in Bronze League for a bit before I drop into or go up to Silver, because there's a couple of tier 6, tier 7 ships that I want to grind right now. So I'm glad that Wargaming actually decided to drop down to tier 6, tier 7 for ranked. I think a lot of players tend to play the higher tiers to a certain extent, when it, you know, because ranked has always been, not always, but usually it's always been tier 8 or higher. So having the opportunity now to have it at a lower tier, tier 6 and tier 7, I think is good for a lot of those more higher tiered players to go down. You know, you have less radar, less gimmicks in the game at through tier 6 through tier 7 versus getting up to tier 8, 9, and specifically 10, yeah, where there seems to be gimmicks galore these days. So we'll see. I'll have to share more of my thoughts on the ranked, and maybe I can even upload some videos from my current ranked season, because that's been quite nice and enjoyable at this present time. So I think we're going to wrap up the video there. Just some thoughts of mine between frustrations with my EU server account. And again, if you guys have thoughts on how to fix that issue, let me know. I will be contacting Wargaming. Thoughts on the new co-op matchmaking we're finding ourselves in as of late. That's across all servers, not just one specific server. And then ranked. So, oh yeah, and then also the airstrikes, of course. How could I forget that right now? All the talk. I do need to say thank you for those of you who subscribed, as we are now over 200 subscribers. That was actually the first thing I wanted to say in this video. I should have written a list down. So I really appreciate that. It's really cool to see how the channel has grown since it started at last fall. So Really hope that you are enjoying the content and hope to continue to bring you guys more. Naturally, I would like to be able to post a video, let's say, Monday through Friday, including, or 6 days a week. But my goal has been to try to focus on the quality of the video versus just pumping out more content. Quality over quantity. So I hope you guys don't mind just keeping at the 4 videos a week. Maybe I'll do a couple extra this summer while I'm on summer break and taking some days and weeks off from work. So on that note, again, thanks for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, I would kindly ask you to consider subscribing. Totally up to you. If you liked the video today, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. I did ramble a bit, but that's kind of what Lunch with Flimsy episodes, I think, are about. So until next time, take care.